Welcome to Movies in the Making. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the 2020 action comedy film Sonic the Hedgehog, originally released by Paramount Pictures and directed by Jeff Fowler. Here, we will dive deep into the story of the production of this film. The adaptation of the video games by Sega became famous so fast, much like the character himself, and so much that happened in the making was just so fast. So, sit back and enjoy the show. You are all in for a supersonic ride. Before Paramount Pictures had the film rights to Sonic the Hedgehog, these rights were first owned by Sony via Columbia Pictures. Neil H. Moritz was attached as a producer for the film via the production company he co-founded, Original Film. At the time of the announcement, the writers were set to be Evan Susser and Van Robichaux, who were writers for the Comedy Central original series Upright Citizens Brigade, itself based on the first incarnation of the improvisational comedy group of the same name. The character would be animated by Marza Animation Planet, owned by Sega Sammy Group, itself owned by the publisher of the Sonic games, Sega. In October 2016, Jeff Fowler was announced as the director of Sonic the Hedgehog, marking his feature directorial debut. Prior to this, Fowler had worked at Blur Studio, an animation and visual effects company known for its high-quality work in both film and video games. At Blur, Fowler directed and wrote the 2004 Oscar-nominated animated short film Gopher Broke, which showcased his talent for animation and storytelling. Blur Studio itself was co-founded in 1994 by Tim Miller, who also played a key role in the Sonic film, confirmed as an executive producer in the same month. Miller, known for his work on Deadpool, brought his expertise in visual effects and action filmmaking to the project, helping him to shape the film's tone and style. Together, Fowler's direction and Miller's production guidance laid the foundation for the film, blending animation with live action in a way that was innovative for the film. In 2017, Paramount purchased the film rights to Sonic. Moritz would still be a producer for the film. This was part of a multi-year deal Moritz signed with Paramount that year that would begin in 2019. As part of this deal, the film would retain its signature mix of live-action sequences combined with CGI animation, a stylistic choice that had been central to the vision of the filmmakers. Paramount's involvement and Moritz's continued role as producer helped the film with its fruition. The script for Sonic the Hedgehog was written by Josh Miller and Patrick Casey, who were previously known for their work as writers on the Fox adult animated series Golan the Insatiable. Before they were officially hired to write the script, Miller and Casey had a pivotal meeting with co-producer Toby Asher, who was considering various writers for the project. At the time, Evan Susser and Van Robichaux had already been confirmed as writers for the film, but the job of crafting the screenplay was still being offered to multiple writers. Ultimately, Asher took a chance on Josh Miller and Patrick Casey, impressed by their creative and unique approach. This decision set them as the main writing team for the film, shaping the script into a fun, family-friendly adventure that balanced humor, heart, and action, all while staying true to the essence of the beloved video game franchise. Ben Schwartz was cast as the Sega mascot after a 5-second video test. It all started with a meeting that Schwartz had with Miller that was unrelated to Sonic. However, after seeing Sonic merchandise on Fowler's desk, Miller explained that they were making a film based on Sonic and needed a voice actor for the character. Schwartz had done voice acting for Disney XD's reboot of DuckTales and Nickelodeon's Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He accepted the invitation to try voice acting for Sonic with a 5-minute video. After listening to his voice, Miller had eventually decided Schwartz would be perfect for the voice of Sonic. Jim Carrey was cast as Dr. Robotnik, who in the games is also known as Dr. Eggman. Carrey received a phone call asking to portray Robotnik, to which he excitedly agreed. Preparing to portray the character took Carrey about a week and a half. Adapting the character was difficult for Fowler because whereas Robotnik felt one-dimensional in the early games, the film itself would require developing the character a bit. Fowler was concerned that doing this would change so much from the source material. When Carrey was cast, he used his famous hyperactive agenda for the character to show strong commitment to the role while maintaining the essence needed for the character. In May 2018, it was announced that James Marsden would feature in the film. He had previously featured in Illumination's 2011 live-action animated film Hop, which gave Marsden some familiarity with live-action films featuring animated characters. The announcement then did not specify if he would be a human character or if he would be the voice of Sonic. Filming took place at Ladysmith, British Columbia, Canada. The setting for Green Hills in that place was First Avenue, filming for which took about 2 weeks. Bayview framing was used as the police station while residents of the town served as extras. Most of the filming at Ladysmith happened at Robert Street and Catacra Street. In that place, $37.5 million was spent. $22 million was given towards the local labor and $15.5 million was given to the local services. It also created 1,450 new jobs for the residents to be part of the cast and crew and took 53 days to film there. The score for Sonic the Hedgehog was composed by Tom Holkenborg, known by his stage name Junkie XL. He had previously composed the score for Deadpool, the 2016 adaptation of the Marvel Comics character, itself directed by Tim Miller. To become the composer for the film, Junkie XL offered to use a Yamaha YM2612 sound chip for doing the soundtrack. Despite the desire the production team had for an orchestra to do the score, Junkie XL insisted that he had previously used a similar synthesizer chip, also of the Yamaha brand, for some instruments. When he was hired for doing the score, Junkie XL decided to use some of the Green Hill Zone music from the original game as the central theme for the film, but could not legally do this. Paramount released the first trailer for the film on the 30th of April 2019. The trailer was poorly received by most of its viewers, particularly fans of the game, for the overly humanoid character design of Sonic looking nothing like the character from the games. Consequently, Fowler announced on the 2nd of May 2019 that the character would be completely redesigned to bear more resemblance to the game character. This resulted in the film being postponed from the 8th of November 2019, its original release date, to the 14th of February 2020. The redesign of Sonic was overseen by Tyson Hesse, who had previously worked on games and comics based on the character. For example, he created the animated intro for the 2017 game Sonic Mania. Because the redesign had to be done for the entire film, the crew behind the redesign had the additional challenge of animating the character for every scene he would be part of. According to the crew, this process was so arduous that the staff experienced harsh working conditions. This included working during shifts that lasted for 17 hours, with some working until 3 a.m. in the morning. Conversely, one animator named Max Schneider said that the crew did not experience crunch when redesigning Sonic. Schneider elaborated that the task was done within 5 months from the delay announcement and that everything else that was part of the film had already been completed. Although one report claimed that the redesign summited the film's overall budget by $35 million, another report later suggested that the summit was actually only by $5 million. This report also argued that the VFX team behind Sonic did not endure crunch. A second trailer was released on the 12th of November 2019 and received a much more positive reception from viewers compared to the first trailer. The new trailer featured significant changes to Sonic's character design. In the revised design, Sonic's eyes were made larger, though still not joined together, his height was shortened, and he was given his iconic white gloves, making him more closely resemble the beloved Sega mascot. These adjustments addressed fans' concerns, helping to align Sonic's appearance with his classic video game version, and played a key role in improving the film's public perception ahead of its release. The positive response to the new design was seen as a victory for Jeff Fowler, who had taken fan feedback seriously and worked quickly to make the necessary changes. The exact same day the second trailer was released, MPC Vancouver, the studio behind a redesign for Sonic, unfortunately shut down. This meant that the British company Moving Picture Company ended its run for the studio based in Vancouver, Canada. The announcement came to the employees as part of a morning conference. This particular studio, owned by NBC, had previously done work for another surprisingly well-received video game adaptation, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, Warner Bros. 2019, and the critically panned musical film Cats, Universal Pictures 2019, based on the eponymous stage musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber, itself based on C.S. Eliot's poem collection Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats, which had the character designs of the Jellicle cats unfavorably compared to Sonic the Hedgehog's first design. As the credits roll, the song Speed Me Up by Wiz Khalifa, Lil Yachty, Ty Dolla $ign, and Suko the Child plays. Originally, this started off as the unreleased single Keep Up performed by Juice WRLD. Alas, poor Juice WRLD died from a drug overdose on the 8th of December 2019. Because of this, Keep Up has not officially been released, likely to avoid possible controversy. The backtrack for that song was used for Speed Me Up, which became popular enough to spawn its own music video. Interestingly, its French version only has Khalifa's lyrics that are now paraphrased. As of the 15th December 2024, Sonic the Hedgehog has a 64% critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes, a 47 out of 100 rating on Metacritic, a 6.5 rating on IMDb, and a 2.9 rating on Letterboxd. The overall reception was mixed to positive, with praise going towards the film's respect towards the source material but criticism towards the familiar story. The film's budget was $85 million and it grossed a total of about $319 million following its release date of 14th of February 2020. This proved to be a strong performance for a video game adaptation, cementing its place as a successful franchise starter. And that wraps up our deep dive into the making of Sonic the Hedgehog. We have journeyed through how Ben Schwartz became the voice for Sonic, how the film was filmed in British Vancouver, and the controversy faced by the character's original design. Sonic the Hedgehog was not just a film, it was a love letter to fans of the acclaimed video game franchise that gave Sega a name for itself to the point where Sonic himself became its mascot. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated on all things movies in the making. Let us know in the comments what you think of Sonic the Hedgehog, or if you have any favorite moments from that film that we didn't touch upon, or what films you would like to hear covered by this channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Movies in the Making, where we will be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Paramount Pictures 2022, and more films to follow along the way. Tune in for more Movies in the Making as we uncover the stories behind cinema's most unforgettable films. This has been Jason Scotchmer, film enthusiast and passionate about the arts.